and go.
Hi, I'm Joel Emile, the creator of the Helping Hand Show. To watch more Helping Hand shows, go to our website, helpinghandshows.com. That's Helping Hand Shows, SHOWS.com. Also, I'm proud to announce that the new Helping Hand book is now available for sale on the website. It's a wonderful book to read. This Helping Hand show, it's called The Wedding. This Helping Hand show is dedicated to Tim McGrath. He passed on. We will remember him as a loving and caring actor on the many Helping Hand shows.
Now, this story, it's about a wedding. It's what every little boy and girl dreams of. Meeting that special person who is our soulmate and marrying them. Personally, I love hearing stories about how couples meet. There's an old saying that states, there's a special person for everyone out there. And when you least expect to meet them, that's when they will enter your life. Now, for me, that saying was true. And I was happy with my life and enjoyed going out with my friends. I was in a serious relationship, and to be honest, I got hurt. They say love is a two-way street. Sometimes you can love someone, and they just don't love you back. But as fate would have it, when I least expected to meet my soulmate, I did. I remember my friends dragging me to a dance club one night. As I walked into this building, I saw a beautiful angel dancing on the dance floor. Her face was lit up like a star. There were millions of flickering, colorful lights floating all around her, and I just stood there, dumbstruck, and watched her dance. Then, without even knowing it, I walked up to her and started dancing with her. So far, we've been married for 35 years, and we're still dancing together. Now, before I really get into the meat and potatoes of this wedding story, did I mention that Joel Emile, the creator of every Helping Hand show, has published a new book called Helping Hand, which can be purchased now on helpinghandshows.com. Now, back to our story. There was a young man. His name was Alejandro, and his family were farmers. They had a farm in Puerto Rico where they grew vegetables. He spent all day harvesting plantains, green bananas, yucca, avocado, and many other kinds of vegetables. He was the son of a farmer, and that was his life. But at age 15, this young man bought an airline ticket and flew to the United States. He wanted a different and better life for himself. And as he stepped off that plane and stood firmly on American soil, that's when life happened. When his cousin Carlos greeted him with open arms, he mentioned that he had gotten him a job. Then Carlos explained to Alejandro where he would be living and working.
Alejandro, you have your bedroom in my basement apartment and our rent is free because you've been working with me washing dishes and cooking in the restaurant upstairs? Not only will you get a weekly paycheck, but you will eat for free. You see, cousin, only in America can your dreams come true.
Carlos, I will work very hard. I can't believe I'm here. This city is so big and the buildings reach the clouds. I'm so amazed. Working on the farm every day, I'm always looking down at the soil. But today, I can't stop looking up at everything around me.
I know how you feel. Now, there's so many people walking all around. I often wonder where they're walking to. And there's so many businesses and restaurants, and there's just so much going on that it's hard to sleep at night, but you'll get used to it.
Carlos, I see a lot of homeless people lying on the streets. We have homeless people in Puerto Rico. But because I was always on the farm, I only saw them when I went to the villages. But I have never seen so many. What's going on?
This is a big city, and everything is so expensive here. If I had to pay rent and buy food, that would probably use up my whole paycheck. So, believe me, we're lucky to have a job, an apartment, and free food. Peter Wall, like the restaurant owner, is a good man, and only giving us this stuff so we can work hard and the restaurant can survive. First thing in the morning, I will introduce him to you. So be ready for the big city and all its excitement.
Homelessness is a major problem in big cities. This is when a person doesn't have a stable, safe, or real place to live. Now, a person can become homeless for many reasons, such as losing a job, a medical condition, eviction, mental issues, and drug or alcohol addiction. Now, these are just some of the reasons. There's plenty of others. So, walking through many cities, it's not uncommon to see many people lying on the street. Now, especially in these economic times, the young and elderly are the most vulnerable to being homeless. Some people just give up on caring for themselves. This is why we, as a community, should care for them by creating soup kitchens, shelters, medical centers for treatment. Now, the following morning, the restaurant owner, Peter Wolak, meets with Alejandro and explains his daily duties.
Hi, Peter. I'm Alejandro, Carlos's cousin from Puerto Rico. Thank you for the job.
It's good to have you here, Alejandro. Carlos is a good guy and works very hard. I expect you to do the same. This is a very busy restaurant, and there are many opportunities for you here. Like Carlos, you can learn how to do different restaurant work and make more money. I'm promoting Carlos to become a waiter. He's going to make a lot more money. So you see, my friend, with hard work, you can do the same. So tell me, what do you think?
Oh, I will work hard. Whatever you need me to do, I will do it. I want to learn the restaurant business and become successful just like you.
You know, Alejandro, I didn't come from an island like Puerto Rico, like you did. I was born here, but my family was very poor. My dad and mom worked very hard in the clothing factories. Then one day, my father lost his job because of layoffs and bought a hot dog cart. He sold hot dogs on this very corner for years until this grocery store closed up. And that's when my father bought that store. And from that little corner store, we became the finest Italiano restaurante in the city. So, in America, dreams can come true with hard work. So tell me, Alejandro, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, with hard work, dreams do come true. I understand.
Alejandro and Carlos worked for many years for Peter Wolak. The restaurant grew even larger and turned into a chain. Peter received all kinds of restaurant awards and promoted both of them many times. Over the years, both of them became wealthy and bought many restaurants themselves. What an incredible story of success! This is why many people leave their homes behind and come to America. They're all chasing the opportunity for a better life. Now, why is this story called The Wedding, you may ask? So far, we've just talked about two young Puerto Ricans who had their dream come true. Well, one evening, an elderly man walked into the restaurant. He sat down at a table and ordered his meal. Then he asked the waiter if Alejandro, the owner, was there. The waiter said he was in the back office. The man asked if he can go get him. Alejandro came to the man's table and asked, "I hear you wanted to talk to me. What is it?" The elderly man introduced himself and said his name was Warren Monroe. And then he started talking to Alejandro. This is what he said.
Many years ago, I had a nervous breakdown. I was lost and I gave up on myself. Even though I had a family, with a wife who loved me and a daughter, I left my home and I started drinking alcohol and drugs. I became homeless. I didn't see my family for many years. Do you remember, Alejandro, always leaving food out for me by the restaurant's back door? At that time, you were only just a waiter. Do you remember when we became friends? And you would talk to me and leave me care packages of water, towels, soap, blankets, and clothes?
Yes, I do remember you. I always wondered what happened to you. You never came back. And now look at you. You are alive and here.
Well, if you remember, I told you my daughter was getting married. and I wished I could go, but I had no clothes to wear to her wedding. And you gave me your waiter's suit to wear. You actually gave me your shoes, socks, pants, shirt, and suit jacket so I could go to her wedding.
I remember that. It was so many years ago. After that night, I never saw you again. I just always hoped you went to her wedding and was alive. What happened? Why didn't you come back?
Because you changed my life. I went to my daughter's wedding. Everyone was shocked to see me. My wife and my daughter were so happy. They all had questions about where I was, and I was honest with them. I was homeless and had a drug and alcohol issues, but they were all still so happy that I finally came home. It has been years since then, and look, you and I are much older now.
I'm so happy for you. You went to your daughter's wedding, got help, and got your life back.
Yes, my recovery is still ongoing lifetime treatment. I have counseling and taking medications that reduce my desire to drink. I now avoid places where drugs and alcohol are available. I surround myself with friends who don't use drugs. I learned and now know to resist the temptation. I practice coping with stress and relaxation, and I'm totally involved in things like exercising and listening to music that distracts me. I am surviving. I've always wanted I've always wanted to one day come see you and thank you for giving me your waiter suit. Because you did that, I went to my daughter's wedding and I got my life back.
Thank you, Warren, my friend. You telling me all this makes me so proud. For years, I dealt with guilt from leaving my dad and family behind in Puerto Rico. My dad depended on me to work the farm like he did for his dad, and I left him and came to America. I know how I hurt him. My dad passed on many years ago. Before I became what I am today, he died. My mom even had to sell the farm. So people look at me as a success and as a successful businessman. But I see myself as a failure of a son. You know, Warren, we all have issues, and we all can easily let these mental issues drive us to drugs and alcohol and become homeless. So I appreciate you coming here and telling me your story. It makes me feel good that I was able to help change your life.
You know, there's an old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. This is why we shouldn't judge people. Many people carry guilt throughout their entire life. If you feel guilty because you believe that you have done something wrong, you may be unhappy. Feeling sad that you did something wrong can lead to mental health issues like depression and anxiety. So, whatever it is that you believe in your heart that is causing you to feel guilty, you have to address it. Look fear in its eyes and make peace with yourself and others. Because this guilty feeling can affect you in many ways. You may feel negative about yourself. You may become unsociable and stop showing emotion. This feeling can lead to stress and bring on, drug or alcohol addictions. Now, Alejandro is a success. He came to America with nothing and became a wealthy restaurant executive and owner through his hard work. But even though he carries the guilt of leaving his dad's farm to come to America, in everyone's life, there's going to be hard decisions that are made. Taking a job in another state far from your parents, enlisting in the military to serve our country and putting your life at stake, or leaving a safe, secure job for another one for growth and more money, and finally marrying someone and believing in them when the divorce rates are so high. All I'm saying is that nobody's perfect, and everyone's life changing decisions will have long lasting feelings of guilt or happiness. Such is life. So, back to our story. Alejandro gets together with his cousin Carlos to discuss an idea that he has.
Carlos, I have this wonderful idea. Let's start a homeless shelter. We have gained so much from America. Let's give back. We can help those people like Warren and change lives. I remember my dad would always give away some of the vegetables he grew on the farm. I would ask him, Dad, why are you giving away all those vegetables? You worked so hard growing them. He would always tell me, son, you could have all the success in the world, but if you didn't help make someone's life better, then you did nothing with your life.
Alejandro, yo, that's all right. I agree. Let's start a homeless shelter. There's so many people these days living on the street. So giving them a place to sleep, clothes, and food would be awesome. But we know nothing about running a homeless shelter. It's definitely a lot more complicated than running a restaurant. Alejandro, what should we do about this? How can we do this?
Carlos, I have the perfect person that'll like to run the homeless shelter. Let me meet with Warren Monroe and see what he thinks of the idea. Believe me, he would be the perfect person.
Alejandro, I can't believe you and Carlos are seriously considering opening a homeless shelter. What a wonderful thing to do. The world needs more people like you two who give back and help others. I am honored that you are asking me to run the shelter. Even though knowing about my past mental health issues and drug and alcohol addiction, you believe in me. So maybe that's why you gave me your waiter suit that night, so I could go to my daughter's wedding, which saved my life. My family and all my loved ones took me back and never let me go. I'm only alive today because of you, Alejandro, because you believed in me when I gave up on myself. So, I'm offering you my helping hand, and I will run your homeless shelter with pride and dignity. I will treat every person with respect and honor like you treated me. I will help them and believe in them. And if I ever meet a person who needs clothes to attend their son's or daughter's wedding, I will give them the clothes and wish them peace and a new life. The end.
To watch more Helping Hand shows, go to our website helpinghandshows.com. Also, the new Helping Hand book is available on said website for purchase. It makes a fantastic gift, folks. Helping Hand was conceived by Joel Emile, who is also the writer of this episode. Here are the actors and characters they played. Ryan Evans was the narrator. Joel Emile played Alejandro Emile. Eric Riggs played Carlos Lebron. Tim Tobis played Peter Wolak. Sean Cooper played Warren Monroe. And Gino DiPiero was the recording engineer that makes this show possible. Keep the faith and never give up, because your opportunity is closer than you think.